Welcome into the Trevor Staub Show, episode number 15. Today we have an incredibly special guest. We have comedian Bert Kreischer on the show. Bert was on a number of podcasts expressing his obsession of disc golf and how passionate he is about the sport. So we knew we had to try and get him on, and luckily we were able to. So it's going to be a great interview. I hope you enjoy. But first, just a quick word from our sponsors. Summer is quickly approaching, and it's time for you to prioritize the comfort of your crotch. That's why the kings of crotch comfort, Manscaped, has spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxers out there. I've had the privilege of testing these underwear, and I can say confidently that it is the softest fabric of any underwear I've ever worn. It's so breathable, it's like gills for your groin, and they even trademarked the jewel pouch technology, so you know it's serious. I think it's time you invest in your family jewels, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping with code STAUB, S-T-A-U-B, at manscaped.com. The Lawnmower 4.0 is still the best electric trimmer for below-the-waist grooming. This trimmer offers skin-safe technology, which is designed to trim hair on loose skin. Outside of just trimming, Manscaped is focusing their efforts on helping you out in other ways with their game-changing boxers. These boxers' features include the jewel pouch, which is a special cradle designed to cradle your boys in their own space, lined with a performance perforated fabric to keep them well ventilated. Their micromodal fabric is buttery soft and breathable. Walk, run, strut, these moisture-wicking boxers breathe without breaking a sweat. The tagless waistband hugs your body without digging in and lays flat on your skin to reduce chafing. The front fly opening gives easy access and makes bathroom breaks quick and efficient. You can choose from an arrangement of sizes and designs, all the way from small to 3XL for all my guys out there. Again, you can get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com using code STAUB, that's S-T-A-U-B. Once again, you can get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with code STAUB, S-T-A-U-B. Let's hop into the show. All right, now welcoming to the show, we have a special guest today. We have comedian, podcaster, television host, and actor, Bert Kreischer. Thank you so much for joining the show, Bert.
Thank you for having me. As we've mentioned, this is my first disc golf interview.
Yeah, no, big. I'm glad to finally, get a disc golf specific interview with you, because we hear all the clips from like the various podcasts. The Joe Rogan one was the one that kind of sparked all of this. But it always seems like you're so anxious to talk about disc golf, and then the subject changes, and it's like we didn't really get to hear all of the good stuff. So I'm glad we get to really talk disc, talk plastic.
Hell yeah, dude! It's it's weird because I know so little compared to like I listen to I watch a lot of disc golf online, and so when you hear people like I saw a clip today, and they're like, this kid missed his shot and he threw his disc down and then sunk his putt. And they're like, he's pulling a total Philo. And I was like, wait, how do I not know that reference? Because I know Philo. And so I'm like, shit, man, I don't know enough.
No, disc golf is like king of the most like obscure references. Like even I've been playing for like over a decade, and I like work in this now, and there's still stuff to this day that I hear that I have to like search Reddit forums to even find out where it started, because I have no clue. But yeah, I that's actually one of the things I wanted to like kind of get a gauge for, is because we see you, obviously you're very outspoken about how much you play disc golf and how much you love it. But like a lot of the disc golfers in the community, like we're kind of like wondering, like trying to get a feel for like how like into the scene are you? Like how in the know is Bert Kreischer with disc golf? So like I got like a list of phrases. I feel like we could get a baseline here. So I've got like I've got just a list of phrases to like, because you said like getting Philoed, you didn't know that one.
Right.
Which if you haven't yet discovered, a lot of the Philo references just have to do with like bad luck. That's just basically where those come from.
It's so funny. My introduction to Philo is that shot he had around the bush.
Yeah.
That ace.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to him.
Oh, okay.
And then someone hit me up and was like, hey man, because I was really bad when I started. Like when we started, I was really bad.
Sure.
And actually I started in college, and I was really good in college. And then when we came back out, and everything I did was a forehand. And then when we came out, everything was backhand, and my forehand was absolute garbage. And I couldn't understand why. And I think it was a disc I was throwing. And so, so then someone's like, you got to hook up a Philo. And so I hit him up, and then randomly he hit me up right before the Greek. He was like, hey man, I just heard you talk about whatever, if I'd love to come out. And then I hung out with him after I did my show at the Greek for like 30 minutes, talked shop, introduced him to my crew, told him about how garbage their game was.
Yeah.
And so, feel free.
Well, okay. So I really like, you seem like you know what you've got a pretty good grasp. Obviously, you play a lot, and that alone, like, is will give you a pretty good idea. But so I just got a few phrases. I'm just curious. We'll start with the easy ones and get a little more into like the disc golf
Good
phrases.
luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Well, I'm
Good
gonna start.
luck.
I'm gonna start very easy. So, very first one I have here is hyzer flip. Do you know what a hyzer flip is?
Hyzer flips when you throw it like this and it goes like this.
Overhand? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah. Oh wait. Hyzer flip. Hyzer flip is when it goes out but then comes in.
So do you know what just like a normal hyzer is?
Hyzer is this, right?
So so hyzer is the angle when you throw and it goes, if it's a backhand, it would go from right to left.
Yeah, right.
Right.
From right to left.
Yeah, it fades
out. And then if
out.
you throw it forehand, it goes left to right.
Correct. So a hyzer.
And then an anhyzer is when it goes out and then in, right?
Yeah, so anhyzer angle is essentially the opposite angle, so you're turning it over now.
By the way, I'm dyslexic. I get forehand and backhand mixed up. I consistently, because you see everyone throw this way, so you'd immediately think that's forehand.
No,
and then when you throw this way, you very seldomly see that. You would think, well, that's your seldom used backhand. But it's obviously
the only comparable thing I guess is tennis. Is like it's like kind of like what they consider forehand and backhand. But the hyzer flip is when you throw at the hyzer angle and you get the disc to flip up to flat. So like you start it on that angle. And have you ever thrown a hyzer flip?
I've never thrown a hyzer flip. I learned. So I didn't play with him. I played right in front of a guy out of Grand Junction, Colorado, who is known to have the best overhand.
Yeah. Oh, those guys are no joke.
I just followed him on Instagram, and I'm sorry I'm not using his name. He's legit. He's
on the pro tour.
He's on the pro tour. Yeah, he's on the pro tour.
Overhand. I mean, there's a few guys that have really good ones. Matt Dollar might be.
No,
he was a guy that had one a while back.
Anyway, he told me what it was. We're on the course. And then I go out and I see it, and I have used this throw so many times.
Yeah,
I used it out of a gulch in Spokane. There's a great course on the river in Spokane, and I've used this so much where you throw it like this.
Yeah, and you get it
but the top of the disc is here.
Yeah,
and it goes like this and goes upside down.
Oh yeah, they used to literally make a disc specifically meant to throw that shot with. I think they banned it though. It's called like the Epic or something. But those guys those guys that throw the overhands are no joke, because like in our area there's a couple guys that are like former like minor league baseball players, and they throw like that shot like 90 miles an hour, and you just have no idea where it's going to go half the time. The flight is so wild. But no, there's no doubt it's an effective way to get out of trouble.
So then talk me through. So hyzer, so we're throwing backhand.
Yeah, so hyzer is the angle. It's coming out.
So hyzer goes like this. Boom, right?
Right.
Anhyzer goes out and then like that, right?
Yeah, so anhyzer turns the other way. Sometimes it comes back at the end if the disc has enough stability.
Oh, so
that's where you get that flip. That's where you get that like S flight out of. The hyzer flip.
I can get that. I can get that with my forehand. We were playing out in Grand Junction, and and I can get that with my forehand. If I throw my forehand high enough this way, it'll come out like this and then bring in this way.
Right. Yeah. So the hyzer flip is when you take a disc that's like normally understable and you throw it, which basically means
By the way, see, already, you realize how in the weeds I am already?
Yeah.
When you go understable, overstable, it's like, just say left and right.
Listen,
what the are we doing here?
No, listen, in my mind, the good news is the rest of the phrases I was going to bring up, they've been canceled already because we figured it out. We've gotten as far as we needed to.
It's so confusing.
Listen, I just had to get a baseline because I had no idea where we were going to get with this.
My baseline is I don't even know what the I'm doing with any of these. Okay. Like my baseline is I probably have no joke. I probably have 200 discs.
Yeah.
And I throw the same 3 rates every time.
That's the best way to you get too far into this and it becomes a mess because the way you're describing.
I look at like we played with a bunch of guys we played with a bunch of Innova guys.
Yeah.
And they're all pulling out different like mid-range and then drivers, lightweight drivers, heavy drivers. I'm like, I understand. If you're going into the wind, throw it heavy. If you're going with the wind, throw it light.
Sure.
I understand that. But like, as far as like, and then one time they're like, hey, you should throw a roller here.
Yeah.
And they showed me throw a roller. And I was like, great. But who the knows where that's going.
Yeah,
It's like
I
a runaway
don't.
teen.
Yeah, I
it
don't.
just takes off.
Here's what I'll tell you is you're in a beautiful spot right now because if you just stay right where you're at, you're gonna have the best time ever. But the second you get a little too far into it, you're trapped because where I'm at, I know too much, but I can't do any of it. So like it's a dangerous road that you'd be traveling down. So where you're at is great. But with that being said, then I want to know like if you're only throwing like 3 discs, like what's in your bag right now? Like what are you throwing?
Oh, Wraith.
Just
Wraith.
all day?
So Destroyer, Wraith.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'll pull my bag. This is my.
Oh, heck yeah.
These are all the extra discs. This is my legit bag.
Oh, sweet.
And we just got off tour. This is not positioned. This
Okay.
is where they put my bag.
Okay.
Okay. So my putter. Let's start with my putter because I fell in love with this putter. Let's hope it's in here. Oh, man, they went through my bag.
Your positioning's all out of whack.
I don't know what. I want to show you my putter because this putter, we got this putter, and it's awesome.
I see you got the Squatch disc golf bag. They sent you out one of those?
Yeah, they sent me one of these, and we got it because we can put beers in the side.
Oh, they've got like the coolers.
I don't like drinking when I play.
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot of guys in disc golf are like completely the opposite, like the John Daly effect.
No, this is gonna sound crazy, but I really genuinely like. Oh, this bag's off. We played inside at a venue.
Yeah.
And so we took all our discs out. But so what I do, so the Destroyer, for whatever reason, the Destroyer and the Wraith are like my 2 favorite discs.
Well, the Wraith is my favorite disc ever, and those are like 2 of the best of all time. So without I won't get too into it, but like you've picked 2 of the best and most popular discs of all time.
And by the way, it's just out of it really is just out of throwing every disc. And by the way, just looking at colors, like I can't read, I can't read what the f***'s on the back of that, right? I need glasses.
Sure.
So I just know the Into the Wind, I can throw this one forehand, and I like what it does.
Yeah.
Now this one's the more complicated disc to throw.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Destroyer.
Yeah,
this is the Destroyer. So most of my discs are all Wraiths and Destroyers. I got a Roadrunner, but this is for this one.
Yeah, that's the Anheuser.
Yeah, but I want to give credit to I'll tell you what. Have you ever seen Sarah Hokum throw?
Yes, incredible.
It is the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
The forehand is nice,
dude. I mean, I want to play with her just so I can watch. It's the coolest. It looks like Greg. Do you remember the guy? Was it Greg Quisenberry who played for the Royals when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Just is so
the
badass.
Submarine. Yeah.
So we got these discs from a putter. I want to find out the name of the putter. And I love this putter, but like I said, they with all my discs.
Was it an Innova putter?
No, it's not an Innova putter.
Oh, okay.
I have the Innova putter, the Avium, whatever it's called. And I'm not a huge fan. I love this is the Innova putter, correct? Or no, like I said, I really honestly, I have 2 discs.
Yeah.
I love Paige Pierce has a couple discs that she gave me.
Yeah.
That are really solid. She gave me one that's like the equivalent to the Wombat. It's kind of like a mid-range, great for forehand.
Yeah.
Real stable.
Yeah.
And but for the most part, I wish I could remember the name of this putter because they gave us this putter and all of a sudden we all started putting so much better.
Do you know what company you got it from?
Nexium, not Nexium. Axiom.
Oh, Axiom discs.
Axiom. Axiom. It's got a black round thing on the outside.
Yeah. So they use like the gyroscopic technology. It's like their big thing. So it could have been the Envy. Was that what it is?
I don't know. It's blue.
Okay. They make a bunch of different putters, but they all have that gyro like technology on the outside. So yeah, one of my buddies putts with that right now and is really liking it.
Yeah, I really like that putter. My assistant was using that, and he loved it. But like I said, I would find the color I liked,
Yeah.
and I just would like, and it was just out of like sitting in a field. And what I do is I drive. So like we played with I'm really bad with names, so I f names up sometimes. But we played with this really great guy from Innova. He took us out. I'd hurt my arm. I'd hurt my freaking arm doing my backhand. So he taught me my forehand,
Yeah.
and I would just throw 3 discs every drive and see which ones I liked, which were the most accurate.
Yeah.
And it always turned into the Wraith. And then we were in Boise, Idaho, and they had this great disc golf shop just outside the little downtown area. I mean, the guy knew a lot about everything.
Right.
And I was like, I tend to lean towards my Wraith, and he goes, great disc.
Yeah.
And so I bought every ounce or gram of the Wraith that I could. I bought all of them.
Yeah.
And those, and by the way, I had just one Wraith, and I threw it on top of a building, and I had my assistant go up and get it. That's how much I love that disc.
Yeah. Well, what you're describing is really the healthy way to figure out what you like, which is just don't really worry about it too much and throw them and just see what it does. Because if you get all into too much of it and the signs of everything, you're going to end up where you just don't even know what to throw because it all just overlaps and blends in. So really, yeah, just sticking with just a few that you like is honestly the play. But yeah, the Wraith is my
anytime number wise, I saw, what is it? I think it was 11, 3, 2. 11 was the whatever I saw. If I saw 11 as that first number, I was like, okay, I can trust.
That's your money number.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like the flight numbers. So it's like speed, glide, turn, and fade is what they stand for. So anything with that 11 is like 11 speed is what you're looking at. Yeah. But yeah. So one thing I wanted to ask is, so obviously you went on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he brought up disc golf, and then there was kind of a long clip that ended up on YouTube, and it kind of, what I wanted to know is, do you realize the gravity of what that did to the disc golf community when that happened? Because like I feel like the disc golf community, like whenever like a celebrity or some famous platform gets a hold of our sport, like everybody gets really excited. And like I was just wondering, like, did you see any of the repercussions they make it out of the disc golf bubble kind of into your sphere after that all happened?
Not really. I mean, I know Paige hit me up and was like, "Hey, I heard you mention me on Rogan."
Right. So that's interesting you said, because I like when that mention went down, like if somebody who's like in the disc golf sphere, like literally everywhere on disc golf social media for about 48 hours, like was related to that clip. Like that's how,
really?
Yeah, like that's how crazy it got, because like we just like get so excited when like our sport gets exposure like that. So like what I wanted to basically inform you is that you have now become like the disc golf ambassador. So like just make sure you have that like on your radar.
So bad. I'm the wrong ambassador.
No, anybody who will just like sit there and tell people how fun it is and like you should try it is like, you're doing a great job. So like,
here's the thing about disc golf, in my opinion, is and maybe I don't know. I'm not really certain whatever I say on Rogan. So I as soon as you said that, I got nervous. I was like, what did I say? No. The community is very welcoming. So yeah. When we went out, I remember we went out to a course in Richmond, Virginia, and everyone was like very helpful. Like they wanted you to get better. Mm-hmm. And that was like the number one thing that we noticed, is like everyone was like, "Hey man, can I point something out? You're throwing it too high. You need to be throwing it. You're not following through." And there was a lot like that was helpful. And adversely, we all got better a lot quicker. Like we all got better. Like all of us got better. And so we all started having more fun with it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I loved the most, is the community kind of seemed very welcoming. Yeah. And look, I obviously, I'm not making money off Paige Pierce. She was just sweet enough to hit me up and say, "Hey, you're in Pensacola. Yeah. Would you like to play? I can show you some pointers." And we were like, "Yeah, sure." I mean, I very candidly, I don't think any of us were familiar with her before then. Sure. But she was just cool and played with us and showed us what we were doing wrong and showed us what we could do better and gave us a few discs and signed a few discs and showed us her van and then played with her dog. It was like that. There was no, like, I gotta be honest with you. Not look, I know this is gonna be a big statement, but like she reminded me a lot of Aaron Rodgers. Like when we met Aaron Rodgers, he came over, hung out in the bus, like very normal person.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know he's an all-star. You wouldn't know he's like a all-pro. He just hung out, gave me a jersey. We talked about, like, what are you doing this summer? Where are you going to be this summer? We should hang out. Oh yeah. That's what Paige was like.
Right.
So when you run into cool people like that, you can't help but.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about Paige all the time because she was just really cool. And by the way, there's a lot of those guys. Brody, who got us together.
Yeah.
He's just a fun guy to watch. Simon Lizotte.
Yeah.
Simon Lizotte, very cool dude. I love that guy's angles. I love he takes what I love about him is he's got this very John Daly-esque-ness to him.
Right.
Where he takes like crazy approaches.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, where's he going with this one? I like that. Eagle McMahon, this is a great story, but like we're playing like our 5th day of playing. And my cameraman goes, have you ever heard of this guy, Eagle? And I was like, that's so funny. I just saw that guy. He's a monster, man. And he goes, he rented my house from me in Boulder. And I went, what? And he goes, yeah. Is he like good? And I go, is he good? And then Eagle hits me up. He's like, hey man, are you playing with John Mans? And I said, I am. He goes, I rented his house in Boulder. And Mans was like, I can't believe. He goes, I was so nervous. He said he was a disc golfer. And I was like, do you make money doing that? I was like, Mans, he's one of the greatest.
Yeah. No.
So it's all these people have just been cool. They've reached out. Like Philo, dude, we hung out at the Greek for literally 35 minutes. And this bad mother signed. I mean, he signed every disc.
Wow. Yeah.
Like he went through and signed every disc for me. And I'm like, and so everyone's just been cool as shit.
Yeah.
So like, how do you not celebrate a community where everyone's been cool? And by the way, everyone's been cool from Innova to Discraft to MVP to all the companies. Sasquatch, no one's competing. They're all like, yeah. Dude, you should try Discraft golf. They're great,
Yeah, the cool thing about, disc golf is very known for the community and like how tight knit everything is, and really it just comes from the sport is still so young that just recently things started taking off. Like, we have athletes that are making literally millions of dollars at this point, but they're you go back not even that far, and like everybody was working together to try and make this work. All the athletes were on the road together in vans, sharing hotel rooms. Like it's very tight knit, and everybody kind of came from nothing, and we're just new to this, like kind of more exposure. So you definitely have that like down to earth, like awesome community to hang out with for sure. One other thing I was actually curious about, you mentioned a few, but what are so you say you watch a good bit of disc golf. Do you follow like any of the pro events at all?
I do, but not during them, after them.
Right. You watch like the post.
I'll watch after them. And by the way, most of it's Jomez.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I watch a lot of Jomez. He's kind of, but they're kind of the standard.
They are, yeah.
For like where I go to, but most of it's on Instagram. Anything on Instagram, it just got in my algorithm, and I don't know. It's I just Yeah. I love it. I'd love to go to an event. I'd love to see an event. I've said this out loud. I'd like to put on $1 million event. I'd like to make, the one thing that I know I have is I have access to making big ideas happen right now because I have so much going on. And so I think it would be cool to put on like a big, but I don't want to like compete with anyone who's been in the business and putting on like great tournaments and stuff. I don't want to compete with anything. I like what Ben Askren does, where he puts on that tournament out at his place. And by the way, I got to give props to Ben Askren. He was like my introduction into the community because he started hitting me up when I started playing a lot.
Yeah.
He was like, I heard you're playing, man. You come up and play at my place. And then I started with him on Twitter or on Instagram. And I was like, yo, Ben, tell me if this is a legal shot. And we were cheating so bad. We were at the very beginning, we were all but Michael Jordaning our way up to the.
Oh yeah. No.
And so, but I'd like to put on a big event. Tom and Segura and I have a big podcast, and we have a big reach. And the more people I can get to do a cool sport, the better. I think people are gonna love. I think There's no way not to love it. I get excited when I wake up on the road and they're like, "Hey man, we're in Amarillo, great course,
Yeah.
like right around the corner."
Yeah.
And you're like the best was Colorado. They're like, "We are a 5-minute walk from one of the best courses in the city." And we're like, done.
Yeah, well, that's because that's the thing is with your touring schedule, you have like the coolest opportunity to play like almost a disc golf tour just as a side thing. And what would you say so far have been like the best disc golf states? Would Colorado be your number one?
Colorado. In all honesty, it's going to be loaded because it's where I've toured the most. You always tour the most in Texas.
Yeah,
but Texas
Texas
seems
is
to have
good.
the most amount of courses and some really diverse courses.
Yeah.
We played some small courses where it's like everything's somewhat drivable, but a lot of hazards. And then we played one, I think in Sugarland, maybe,
Sure. Yeah.
that was like long as.
Oh yeah, they
And
get get crazy.
And we met the dude who designed it. We played with the guy who designed it, and we watched him. He was a monster, man. He was like, it was a par 3, and I want to say it was like 600 feet or something.
Oh yeah.
And he got there in 2 and put it in for par. And we were just like, and by the way, we're all throwing 5 shots.
Right.
But yeah, we've Virginia's got some cool courses. Over in South Carolina, we played with the guys over at Innova, I think when we were in South Carolina or maybe North Carolina, and they came down and played with us.
Okay.
And there's some cool courses. There's not a lot in LA. I ran into a guy 2 days ago. I was out doing something. The guy came up. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry that I'm not remembering names. I'm really bad with names, but I think he's a pro." And he's like, "Yeah, I play at Weddington a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, but isn't that?" He's like, he told me the first disc golf course ever was out in California.
Yeah, it's near Pasadena.
Yeah, and I was like, I want one in LA. I want one where I live.
Yeah.
And so I talked to I think the guys at Innova, and they were like, I think they do stuff like that. I'm so bad, man. I have so much going on in my career that I'm like I remember at one point disc golf was my dead focus because I was like, I want to put on events at my outdoor shows coming up for Fully Loaded. I want to do an event every time because I have space. I want to do. I had all these things, and then all of a sudden, my managers and agents are like, "Hey, man, you have a movie career. You got to pay attention to."
Right. Like put down the frisbee for a second.
So, yeah. Can we just put disc golf on a back burner and do the Greek?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I think if you were to put on an event, it would definitely make a splash. Like right now, just for like perspective, right now, like our biggest event we have is like the tour championship as far as like purse amount. And I think the purse last year, I want to say it might have been 250 grand. It was pretty big.
It's a big purse.
Yeah. The purses are getting there because we're starting to get like corporate sponsors involved. But I mean, yeah, if the first $1 million event will certainly be a very big deal. That'll be a pretty big splash. Cause right now, the tournament purses aren't even super big at a lot of events. Like a lot of players are making just way, way more money off of endorsements and stuff than they do off of like actually winning. That's where a lot of the money is. But so another thing I was curious is, obviously you've played a lot of disc golf. You're kind of known for, having the great stories. Is there any amazing disc golf stories that you have that is like one of your great stories and it's disc golf related?
I mean, yes and no. Like,
okay.
But it's disc golf related. But I mean, we're playing in. God, I'm bad with places. I wish my assistant was here. He'd be better with this. We were playing in. I wish I could remember exactly where. Hang on, let me call Peter real quick.
Okay.
Because I put it on Instagram. Okay. I put it on Instagram. We shot a video. I shoot every drive in vertical.
Yeah.
It's going on reels. If I texted the guy, who's the guy who throws the disc, turns around, it gets a hole in one, and he goes, "I want to thank my sponsors." Do you remember that?
Oh, Chris Dickerson did that.
Chris Dickerson.
Yeah.
Chris Dickerson, I hit him up. I was like, dude, the best. The best.
Don't
think I'm stealing that from you when I do that.
Have you had an ace yet? You haven't had one yet?
No, I haven't had an ace.
So you're just getting ready.
I've had, dude. I guarantee you, I cry when I get an ace.
I listen. I played for I want to say I played for 4 years before I had one, and I played a lot. And then I had like 3 pretty quick, and then I haven't had one since. They just come and go.
Well, I've come really close on a couple. My assistant Pete hit it, banged the chains, and it went out. But what sucks for him is that it was a blind tee.
Oh, so we never
What's
knew.
the name of where were we when we were on the road and you were in the lead and we were playing disc golf and you had the amazing guy and you were like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about that now, B-man? Well, where were we at?
Oh man, not Poughkeepsie, was it?
Was it Poughkeepsie? Oh, it was a beautiful town. Remember we did that long walk to get there through the park? And
oh yeah.
It was
No, it wasn't Poughkeepsie. Where was that?
I was like, it was a town that was like one of those old school towns. All right, doesn't matter. I'll talk to you later.
All right, talk to you later.
So out the gates, I was by far the best disc golfer. Okay. The very first time we played, because I played in college. When we played in college, it was you had one disc, that was all you had, and you played, and you had to pick the goals. So we'd be like, all right, fountain, the fountain in 3. And so we'd play from the parking lot to the fountain, and you had to get there in 3.
Yeah.
We'd play from the state capitol, up by the state capitol, all the way back into the campus, down to the fraternity houses, and then back to our house.
Wow.
It was fun. What I loved about disc golf, not to get too into details, but what I loved was the fact that you had to walk 3 miles. That you were walking 3 to 4 miles. And at the time I was trying to lose weight. And what I would do is jog from each shot to shot. And it made me, and I love the feeling of throwing it and then jumping and running to get my disc. So I jumped out of the gates the best. And then very quickly, my assistant Peter, who's the youngest out of all of us and the most athletic, he started catching up with me. My buddy Dave started catching up with me. And it started to get very competitive. So we go out to, let's just call it Poughkeepsie, and we find a disc golf course. The disc golf course is in the woods. It's behind a high school.
Oh, yeah.
It's really technical in that a lot of hazards, a lot of trees.
Yeah.
I am in the lead going into the back 9, and I have a shot. I have a putt where it is for par, and the goal is here, and then it goes down a mountain, and I miss long, and it rolls down, and it takes me, I think, 3 shots to get back. So now
brutal.
Now we're tied. Me and Peter are tied, and it is the first time I'm going to lose in disc golf. It is the very first
big
time.
Big deal, because you introduced them to it.
Yeah.
So it's like your thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to lose. And this is on my Instagram.
Okay.
This is on my Instagram. So we're going in to the final hole. And I am up by 1. I get up by 1. And all I have to do is par it. No, I'm so sorry. All I have to do is par it, and Peter has to birdie it to win. Okay? For the push.
Yeah.
All I have to do is par it, and Peter has to birdie it. And it is the 18th hole. It is a long, very thin fairway. I'm going to say ballparking at about 258, right?
Okay.
Up against a construction fence. So the pin, what do we call it? The pin?
Basket.
The basket is backed up by a construction fence.
Okay.
And Peter goes up to the tee box first, and he throws a dart directly at the basket. It misses it by inches, hits the back fence, and he is now certain that he has won. He comes back with real male energy, testosterone. He goes, "What are you gonna do about that, B-man? What are you gonna do about that?" Like now he's
pumped up.
You see a peek into his competitiveness.
Yeah.
And mind you, he's my assistant.
Right.
But what are you gonna do about that, B-man? What are you gonna do now?
It took over.
So I tell him, I think this is in the video. I said, Peter, there's a difference between me and you. Under pressure, I excel. That's why I am where I am, is that I love the pressure.
Yeah.
And this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I take a forehand and I throw a dot about 10 feet from the basket. But what's crazy is I overthrew it. It hit a tree and landed right next to the basket. Peter goes for his putt for the win and misses.
That's the best.
I put it on Instagram. It's
Oh,
my
that's the
favorite
best.
disc golf moment ever.
That's the best.
Ever.
There's
Ever.
yeah, there's nothing better than somebody just getting squashed like that right after they finally let loose a little bit.
Dude, there's so many variables in we did a hole that was $1,000 one time. I said I'm gonna put everyone on my team, everyone against one guy. All you got to do is you got to beat. You say you're the best, you got to beat everyone. And everyone on my team didn't throw it into a tree on their drive. Just woodpeckers. And I'm like,
I kind of like that woodpeckers. That isn't even in the disc golf lingo, but I think I'm going to add that one. If you don't
Please
mind, I'm
do.
going to steal that.
Just donk, and you're like, that is the most. And what's great, what's beautiful about the sport is that can happen to the greatest disc golfer.
Oh yeah.
The
the faster
moment when you watch
you
someone
throw it. Yeah, it's just
you
hitting
watch
it hard.
someone with beautiful form, beautiful everything,
Yeah.
knows what they're doing, flips the disc, catches it, tosses it, donk, and you're like,
oh yeah. Well, and yeah, there's nothing better than just seeing somebody rip one into a tree and just watching it fall like a dead bird and just hearing that thud. It's deflating. I mean, it's the beauty of it. It's the trees are the ultimate. They really level the game out.
I'll tell you what course I'd like to replay though is the San Francisco. I think it's the Golden Gate course.
Yeah, Golden Gate Park. I think
Golden Gate Park. I'd like to replay that because we all sucked pretty bad then.
Yeah,
and we're all getting better. And by the way, they were like selling discs there, and like everyone was sharing joints. It was really awesome. I'd like to play that again. There's a couple holes I want to I want to take another stab at.
Yeah, no. What would you say you prefer? Like, do you like the wooded courses more? Or do you like the wide open, like more like park style courses? What do you think your preference is?
I'll tell you what I really like. I like raised tee boxes. I love
the elevation change.
I love elevation change.
Yeah.
I love I like a good mix. I mean, I wish I really knew the courses better that we have played, but there was one that we played in, I think it's in Texas, and it was a nice mix. They had a bunch of stuff in the woods and then a bunch of stuff out in the wide open, and it really made it fun. I want to say it was in Amarillo. I want to say I really wish I had a better memory with this stuff, but I like those. We played one in the snow that was funny. Yeah. Because God forbid your disc catch some snow.
See you later.
And it just gone.
Yeah,
gone.
It's gone forever. Well, I tell you what, it sounds like. Have you ever heard of the UDisc app before?
We have it. I don't do any of that. Like I am really honestly a glutton for the throw.
Well, yeah.
Like I just want big drives.
Well, you're hunting for the ace right now. It sounds like.
Yeah.
That's what you're out there for.
When I get that fucking ace, say goodnight.
All right. That's gonna be the big moment. Like where's that gonna rank like in your career? Because like you've been on Netflix, so like where's the disc golf ace?
It's it's hard to explain because certain things are just better than the big things. Like look,
well, it's an athletic feat, so that automatically just like raises it.
Well, it's like I remember someone telling me, how great is it to have a child? And I said, it's okay. Like, it's cool, but it's not as good as hitting your number on roulette. Like, when you hit your number on roulette, it's so much more instant. You're like, it's 11. It's 11. Like, you don't believe it's real. When you have a kid, you're like, yeah, we've been waiting for 9 months for it.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, when you get that ace, it's gonna be
special.
Pretty, I've never had a hole in one in golf or anything.
Yeah, well, here's what I'll tell you too: is you play long enough. The longer you play without getting one, that first time where you hit those chains and it goes in, you won't be expecting it. You're just like you're thinking, oh, here's another one that's just a close miss, and then it hits, and you're shocked. I mean, it's half the time. Whenever I've had them, I'm usually speechless because I just can't even believe that it went in. So I look forward to seeing that on Instagram. I think it's coming soon.
I had one in Texas that flew right past it. Like, I mean, if it had been 3 feet over, it would have been an ace, but it just went right past it.
You haven't had one chain out yet where you hit the chains and fall out?
No, the closest I had, we were playing in, I don't know, somewhere, and I was just around.
Yeah.
And it was my first shot was garbage. My second shot, I just grabbed it and literally flicked it and from 100, maybe 150 feet, it sunk it, and I lost my. I was like, oh.
I mean, honestly, that's a lot of times when the best throws happen is when you're not really trying.
Yeah, I feel like it.
That seems to be the key with disc golf. Well, anyways, Bert, one last thing before I let you go. I just kind of wanted you to let's get a list of right now your strengths and weaknesses of your game. What do you think like your biggest strengths, biggest weaknesses?
My biggest strength is my biggest strength is by far my drives.
Yeah.
However, having said that, not on the first 4 holes.
Okay.
Like I got to warm up, and I don't know the right way to warm up because I'm afraid. I really am afraid of tearing a rotator's cuff or hurting something.
Well, warming up isn't really cool though. So like you got the right idea.
Yeah. My biggest strengths are my drives. By far my biggest weakness is putting. By far my biggest weakness is putting.
Join the most popular club in America.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I've gotten really good when we fuck around in the we get done in amphitheater. We immediately put up a basket and then throw out. We play like 9 holes around the amphitheater. Or if we were in Major League Stadium the other day and we put it out in center field, and then we just go around and we all throw from different parts of the thing.
That's sweet.
By far, I was just screwing around, and I was throwing a wraith, and I was throwing it as hard as I throw a drive at the basket, and I was draining them every time.
Is that the new strategy then?
Well, here's the problem.
There's
when
downfall.
I missed by a mile.
Yeah.
By a country mile.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this, like when I'd miss, I'd be like, I'm back over by the home plate.
You gotta have the extra confidence the harder you're gonna throw it, I guess.
Yeah. We keep thinking we wish they had like a disc golf type of what's the place where everyone goes hit golf balls and gets drunk?
Top Golf.
Yeah, we wish we had that.
Yeah.
Because I want to just go and throw discs.
Right.
I want to throw 100 discs.
Yeah. No, it needs to exist. Right now there's nothing really like that. Like somebody needs to invent the collection system. We were like, my friends and I were trying to scheme it. Like it would have to be like a conveyor belt that brings them all back to the start. Like that'd be the collection system for it.
We were playing at Newton Hill in Worcester.
Okay.
Peter just texted me. He said, we're playing in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we're playing at Newton Hill. That's where that course was on 18.
The famous course.
Yeah, if anyone wants to know where where I beat Peter.
Okay.
That's
I'm sure
where
we
it
have
was,
plenty of
Massachusetts.
We've got some listeners up there, so they'll appreciate knowing the history. Every time they step on that hole, they'll know what took place there.
Yeah, on that 18, right into the construction site.
Right
By the way, if it hadn't hit that tree, it would have gone into the construction site, and he would have beat me. By the way, and it should be pointed out, we played again in D.C. No, was it D.C.? No, it was Baltimore. It was in Baltimore. We were in Baltimore. Beautiful course. Beautiful course in, I think, the bad neighborhood. I'm not sure, but I think it's the bad neighborhood. Great course. We played, and we played again, and we were playing skins this time.
Okay.
And we played 18, and we pushed. So we're like, we'll play one more.
Yeah.
Call the Uber, we'll play one more. We play again. This is 6 guys playing, 7 guys playing. Play the next one, another push. We play another 9 and we push until we get to the 9th hole, an uphill par 3 going around trees. And I drive and it lands underneath the basket on a bit of a roll underneath the basket.
Counts.
And I remember looking at Peter and going, good luck, buddy. This is where we choke. And he missed. By the way, he had a great drive. He had like 15 feet to the basket.
Yeah.
He missed it. And I just, oh yeah.
He's not built for it. That's what it sounds like. Well,
I really want to play Ben Askren's course. I think that would be fun.
Well, you got to get to the Pro-Am. Are they going to run that again this year?
Yeah, what's so funny is they are. And at first we were supposed to be, my family and I were supposed to be in Italy, so I couldn't do it. And we just pushed our trip. So I may take the flight up and do it it'd just be funny. Yeah. It would be funny. Look, to be honest with you, it'd be funny to play. It'd be funny after to have cold beers and talk about it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they get like the best of the best pros up there. So you get a really cool mix of of people playing for sure. And I mean, they get some serious athletes too. I think they have some professional pitchers up there playing as well. So, yeah, it looked like a fun time.
Yeah.
But anyways, Bert, thank you so much for joining the show. I really appreciate you coming on. It was awesome hearing from you about all your disc golf experiences, and it's really cool to have some people in the celebrity world that play disc golf and support our sport. The disc golf community loves it. We love having ambassadors like that to just tell people about the sport. So it's really awesome.
Well, I listen. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. You gotta pay it forward and say all the people that have welcomed me into this sport and been as kind as they have, and all the companies and all the brands and all the people playing with you and all the people that were been kind and gave you a lighter when you couldn't light a joint and the guys that can go into the water and get your disc for you when you all four throw your discs in the water on the first hole.
Yep.
And all the cool disc golf shops where they take the time and really kind of get in, geek out with you. Everyone's been cool as shit. So thank you to everyone in the community for welcoming me in. It means the world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm sure that everybody's looking forward to seeing that first ace on Instagram. We're all going to be watching.
Dude, I'm already practicing my as soon as it rings, got to be cool as shit, turn around. I can't wait. I'm gonna talk shit. I'm gonna promote dates. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll be following.
Awesome, Trevor. Thank you very much, buddy.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Take care.
All right, pretty awesome episode. Thanks again to Bert for joining the show. It was so cool getting to hear from him and just get his perspective on disc golf. I think it was really fun kind of getting a little bit of a different perspective than we typically get on the show, but just being able to have him on the show and hear from him was really great. If you're looking forward to more awesome guests like that, well, you're in luck. We're going to have them all throughout the year. We've got another one coming next Thursday, so make sure to check it out.